And I can't remember anybody except the Queen being.
For decades, Queen Camilla has stood beside King Charles through scandal, scrutiny, and a dramatic rise to the throne. However, when King Charles passes away, Camilla's world could change overnight. From her title and influence to residences, security, and public role, the shift would be swift and deeply symbolic. But what happens when the crown passes on? Will she still retain her and some other privileges she is enjoying now? In this video, we uncover 20 powerful things Queen Camilla could lose when King Charles passes away. Number 20. Her title as Queen. The moment King Charles passes away, Camilla is no longer Queen. She doesn't lose all her royal titles, but she loses the one she spent 30 years waiting for. Camilla goes from being Queen to what is called Queen Dowager, which is just a formal way of saying the widow of a king. Think about that. For decades, Camilla was seen as the other woman, the mistress blamed for ruining Diana's marriage. Slowly and painfully, she worked her way into acceptance. She became Duchess of Cornwall, then Queen Consort in September 2022, and finally Queen Camilla at the coronation in May 2023. The last Queen Dowager was Queen Adelaide almost 200 years ago. She outlived King William IV in 1837 and held the title for 12 more years, respected but largely ignored. Here's the harsh reality for Camilla. She will still be called Your Majesty and technically remains a queen, but she won't be the queen. That title instantly passes to Catherine, Diana's daughter-in-law, the moment William becomes king. There's no ceremony or waiting. 30 years as the other woman, crowned in 2023, and she may only enjoy it for a few years before Catherine takes over. Though her title as queen is important, but another equally important position she will lose lies ahead. Let's move on. Number 19. Her position as the king's equal. At the moment, Camilla appears beside Charles at every important royal event. She is not just standing near him, she shares the spotlight as his wife and public partner. When presidents, prime ministers, and other world leaders come to visit, they are welcomed by both the king and the queen. Together, they represent the monarchy. However, everything would change once Charles is no longer alive. Their public partnership would immediately come to an end. Camilla would no longer be queen in the same way. Instead, she would simply be William's stepmother. She would not stand beside the new king as an equal or ruling partner. Her position would become more personal than powerful. From that point forward, it would be William who decides how involved Camilla remains in royal life. Royal expert Marco Della Cava explained to USA Today that when William becomes king, he will have full control over the size and importance of Camilla's role in her later years. The authority will rest entirely in his hands, not Camilla's, and not based on what Charles may have wished. And according to many observers, William does not easily forget the past. Number 18. Her influence on royal decisions. Camilla has a strong influence behind the scenes. She speaks closely with the king, and when important choices are made about the royal family, such as who is invited to special events, which ceremonies to attend, and how to handle difficult situations, her opinion matters. Charles trusts his wife deeply. He respects what she thinks and makes sure she is part of the serious conversations that shape the monarchy's direction. However, things would likely change when William becomes king. At that point, Camilla's influence would not carry the same weight. William would first turn to Catherine and his trusted advisors for guidance. While he may remain polite and respectful toward Camilla, her role would likely be much smaller. She would accept whatever position is offered to her, but she would no longer be involved in major decisions about the family's future. Some reports suggest that William's relationship with his stepmother has always been complicated. Royal author Christopher Anderson even told Us Weekly that William simply tolerates her. If that is true, her future role could be quite limited. Number 17. Use of some royal residences. Charles and Camilla have lived at Clarence House since 2003. That means they have spent more than 20 years there, making it the place Charles has lived the longest as an adult. Even after Charles became king, they decided to remain at Clarence House instead of moving into Buckingham Palace. However, Clarence House does not personally belong to Camilla, and it does not fully belong to Charles either. The property belongs to the Crown. It is passed down from one monarch to the next. According to reports from Cosmopolitan, it is not certain whether Her Majesty will be allowed to keep rooms at Clarence House once Prince William becomes king. The choice will not be hers. It will be William's decision. In his book Spare, Prince Harry shared that after he moved out, Camilla turned his old bedroom into a dressing room for her clothes. He wrote that he tried not to mind, but when he first saw it, he did feel upset. Camilla does own Raymill House, which she bought in 1996 for £850,000 after her divorce. A friend told The Telegraph that it is the only place where she truly feels relaxed. Still, being asked to leave Clarence House for the countryside could be seen as a public step down. As painful as leaving the official residence is, our next story is more shocking. Number 16. Her place at the ceremonial opening of Parliament. Every year, the King and Queen make a formal visit to Parliament for the state opening, which is one of the biggest royal events in Britain. At this moment, Camilla sits beside Charles on a grand throne. On her head rests the sparkling diamond diadem, the same crown that Queen Elizabeth was pictured wearing on coins and stamps for many years. But when Prince William becomes king, Camilla's position will change dramatically. She won't sit on that throne anymore, and it's possible she might not even be invited to such events. It's like going from having the best, most important seat in the house to sitting far away in the very back. That sharp drop in status is exactly what she faces in the future. Her current place of honor, right next to the king and wearing a crown full of history, won't be hers forever. Once the next generation takes over, Camilla could find herself largely sidelined, losing the prominence she now enjoys. The contrast between her current power and future uncertainty is striking, showing just how quickly roles and importance can shift in royal life. What feels permanent today may be completely gone tomorrow. Number 15. Her place in family photos. Official royal photos usually focus on the king, the queen, and their children. These include Christmas cards, coronation images, and balcony appearances. Nowadays, Camilla is often in the spotlight, appearing prominently in every official picture. But when William takes the throne, the main photos will feature William, Catherine, and their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. Camilla might still appear in some group shots, but she won't be the center of attention anymore. The woman who spent years trying to be fully accepted in the royal family will move from a central role to a more optional one. She'll be there, but no longer essential. It's a shift from being a key figure to being someone nice to include, rather than someone the public expects to see front and center. Over time, her presence in official imagery will become less prominent, highlighting the next generation of the royal family. What was once her hard-earned place in the spotlight becomes secondary, as the focus returns to William, Catherine, and their children, who will now define the official royal image for the future. The story of acceptance, struggle, and prominence quietly changes with the passing of roles from one generation to the next. Number 14. Her freedom to choose her own schedule. Camilla used to control her own life. She picked what she wanted to do, deciding which events to attend, which charities to support, and which invitations to accept. Every choice was hers alone. But as Queen Dowager, all of that changes. That freedom disappears. Her calendar is no longer hers. Every meeting, every visit, every public appearance must be approved by the palace. She has to check carefully so she doesn't clash with William and Catherine's events. For anything big, she needs permission, whether it's said out loud or just implied. The woman who once lived by her own plans now has to move around the schedules and decisions of others. Her personal wants take a back seat. She suggests, and they decide. It's a subtle but profound shift. Camilla goes from being independent to being constantly measured, watched, and coordinated. The life of spontaneity and personal choice she once knew is replaced with rules, approvals, and protocol. Every step she takes is part of a larger rhythm she cannot fully control. What she thought of as her own life now belongs, in part, to the crown. That is the new reality she must accept, no matter how hard it feels. Number 13. Her bodyguards. As queen, Camilla is surrounded by bodyguards every hour of the day. These aren't just ordinary guards. They are highly trained police officers whose sole job is to keep the royal family safe. Their constant presence ensures that she is always protected from potential threats. But when Camilla becomes Queen Dowager, her security situation will change. She will no longer be the main focus of protection. As a widow, she is considered less of a target, and the size of her personal security team will almost certainly shrink. Many of the officers who currently guard her will be reassigned to look after Prince William, Catherine, and their children. This shift is a quiet but clear sign of how her position within the royal hierarchy changes over time. Once at the very top, she will now experience a reduction in attention and protection, a subtle reminder that her role has been diminished. While she will still have some security, it will not be as extensive or visible as it is now. For Camilla, the move from Queen to Queen Dowager will bring a slower pace, less spotlight, and fewer protective measures surrounding her daily life, reflecting the natural shift in priorities for the royal family. And just when you think losing her security guard is painful, this next one proves even more heart-touching. Number 12. Her cars and travel. The royal garage is where the most luxurious cars for the royal family are kept. It has Bentleys, Range Rovers, and other special vehicles used for big events and official trips. These cars often come with police escorts and motorcades that move through city streets, making travel smooth and impressive. While Camilla is queen, she gets first choice of these cars. She travels in comfort and style, with the finest vehicles ready whenever she wants them. Everything is available for her use. But when Charles is no longer king, things change. The very best cars will go to William and Catherine, the new leading royals. Camilla will no longer have the same priority. She might have to make do with the cars left over or arrange her own transportation. The days when she had a full royal motorcade with police clearing the streets and making way for her will now belong to the new queen. Her role in royal travel will become more limited, and she will no longer automatically get the top choice of vehicles. The power and prestige of the royal garage shift along with the crown, showing how even access to luxury and convenience is tied to rank in the royal family. Number 11. Salary from the sovereign grant. Working members of the royal family receive money through something called the sovereign grant. This is public money, collected from taxpayers, that covers their official duties, staff salaries, travel, and day-to-day expenses. Right now, Queen Camilla enjoys a very comfortable lifestyle thanks to this system. Her clothes, trips, and household bills are all covered, allowing her to live the way she's used to without worrying about costs. However, things will change when she becomes Queen Dowager. At that point, the amount of money she receives will be reassessed. It's expected she will get a smaller sum, enough to attend a few public events, but far less than what she currently enjoys. The person who decides this is Prince William. He controls the finances and has full authority over the budget. There's no particular reason for him to increase her allowance, and he may well keep it modest. Essentially, Camilla's lavish spending today depends entirely on her current role. In the future, her financial comfort will rely on William's judgment and decisions about what is appropriate for a reigning queen in a more symbolic role. And if losing her grant isn't surprising enough, wait until you learn about how it affects this next one. Number 10. Her charities. Camilla, according to the royal website, currently supports more than 100 charities. When she becomes Queen Dowager, these organizations will be reviewed again. Some charities may prefer a younger, more high-profile queen to represent them, which could favor Catherine over Camilla. Royal expert Marlene Coig told Reader's Digest that Camilla is likely to continue her charity work, but it's unclear if she will maintain all 100. Prince William might encourage her to reduce her involvement, and when a king makes such a suggestion, it often carries a lot of weight. It's not something easily ignored. Essentially, while Camilla's dedication to charitable causes is strong, her role as queen could change how many organizations she actively works with, and some may naturally shift their focus toward Catherine instead. Number 9. Influence on court appointments. When a person is married to a king or queen, they are called a consort. Even though they are not the ones wearing the crown, they can still have a quiet influence behind the scenes. While the monarch is alive, the consort often meets important officials, advisors, and members of the royal household. They may share opinions about who should be given certain jobs at court. They might suggest trusted friends or experienced workers for key roles. Sometimes, their advice helps shape important decisions, even if it is not made public. This influence is usually informal. It does not come from written laws or official powers. Instead, it comes from their close relationship with the monarch. Because they spend so much time together, the monarch may value their thoughts and trust their judgment. As a result, the consort can quietly affect who gets promoted, who is appointed to special positions, and who becomes part of the royal inner circle. However, when the monarch dies, this influence quickly becomes weaker. The new king or queen brings their own trusted advisors and team. The consort of the late monarch no longer has the same access or closeness to power. Without that personal connection to the ruling monarch, their ability to shape court appointments and decisions becomes much smaller. Number 8. Access to the royal jewelry. Camilla has worn some of the most valuable jewelry in the world. The Breville tiara, the George V sapphire tiara, the Burmese ruby tiara, and the Greville emerald kokoshnik. She has appeared at state dinners covered in diamonds and emeralds, wearing pieces that once belonged to Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, and the Queen Mother. But none of it is hers. Not a single piece. These tiaras are part of the royal collection, and the king decides who wears them. Right now, Charles chooses which tiara Camilla can borrow. When he is gone, William will decide. And everyone knows who will get them then. Catherine, the woman William picked, the one raising Diana's grandchildren, the one who wears Diana's sapphire engagement ring every day. The Greville emerald kokoshnik alone is worth around £10 million. Camilla wore it to a diplomatic dinner in November 2025, but she never owned it. In fact, Camilla has only ever owned one tiara, the small, simple cubit shan tiara from her first marriage, which she has already given to her daughter Laura. Every glittering crown she has worn as queen was borrowed, every priceless gem on loan from the family she helped displace. Diana would have worn these tiaras for decades. Instead, Camilla took her place, and now William will decide their future. Number 7. Her place at state dinners. State banquets at Buckingham Palace are the most luxurious dinners in all of Britain. Leaders from around the world, presidents, ambassadors, and other powerful figures attend these events. They gather at tables where some of the most influential people on the planet sit. Today, Camilla plays a key role in hosting these dinners alongside King Charles. She sits at the head of the table, adorned in the finest jewelry, representing Britain to the world. She is the main hostess of the country's most exclusive event. However, this will change when Prince William becomes king. Then, Catherine will take over hosting duties, and Camilla will no longer lead the table. She may still be invited, but she will be seated further down, reflecting her lower position in the royal hierarchy. From being the central figure in these grand occasions to waiting for an invitation, Camilla's role shifts dramatically. What was once her responsibility to welcome and represent guests will become a matter of hoping to attend, showing how quickly influence and status can change within royal protocol. Her presence will still be part of the event, but the power and prominence she once held at these dinners will no longer belong to her. Number 6. Personal staff. As Queen, Camilla enjoys a full setup, her own private secretary, her own office, and a team that manages her daily schedule and official duties. She has people taking care of everything, making her life structured and organized. But all of that changes the moment Charles is no longer king. After Queen Elizabeth passed away, Clarence House made it clear. The operations of the household have ceased. Some redundancies will be unavoidable. In plain terms, that meant people lost their jobs, and the entire staff was reorganized. Some were reassigned, others were let go, and some positions simply vanished. The same thing will happen when Charles eventually dies. Camilla's own team will be affected. A few may move to new roles, some will leave, and others will disappear altogether. The extensive support she has now will shrink drastically. She will still have helpers as Queen Dowager, but the level of support, the resources, and the structured team she relies on today will be nowhere near the same. Everything she's used to, her office, her staff, the constant assistance, will be scaled down, leaving her with far less help than she currently enjoys. Now, as we move away from her personal staff, an even scarier story about her foreign trip awaits us. Let's explore further. Number 5. Precedence in foreign visits. Camilla has traveled all over the world as queen, visiting countries like France, Germany, Kenya, and many others. She represents Britain alongside Charles wherever they go, meeting presidents, prime ministers, and attending state dinners in foreign capitals. She is the face of British royalty abroad. But once William becomes king, these official trips will stop. William and Catherine will take over as Britain's representatives to the world. Camilla may still travel occasionally for charity work, but she won't represent the country or meet world leaders. That role now belongs to Catherine. The woman Diana never met will step into the role Diana might have played as a global ambassador. Number 4. Her role at Trooping the Colour. Trooping the Colour is the official celebration of the King's birthday. It features a parade, an appearance on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, and military jets flying overhead. Right now, Camilla is standing beside King Charles on that central balcony, sharing the spotlight as the Queen with her King. But when Prince William becomes king, that central spot will go to Catherine. Camilla may still be seen on the balcony, but she will be moved to the side, no longer next to the king, no longer the focus of attention. The cameras will shift to Catherine, to the children, and to the future of the monarchy. Camilla, in contrast, will represent the past, a figure whose role is no longer at the center of the celebration. Her presence will be quieter, less highlighted, while the new generation steps forward. The change is not just about position on the balcony. It is about who the public and the media will see as the main figures of the royal family. Camilla's role, once prominent, will gradually fade from the spotlight, making way for Catherine and the heirs to take the attention and define the image of the monarchy moving forward. Number 3. Her time in the spotlight. As Queen, Camilla is constantly in the public eye. Photographers take her picture everywhere she goes. Reporters write about her outfits, her speeches, and even the tiaras she chooses to wear. Every event she attends becomes a news story. People talk about what she says, what she does, and how she looks. She is always part of the headlines. But when Catherine becomes queen, the attention will quickly shift. The cameras will turn toward her instead. The newspapers and online stories will focus on the new queen, her style, and her young family. The spotlight will move to the next generation of royals. Camilla will no longer be the main subject of interest. She may still appear at events, but she will not be the center of attention anymore. Over time, her name may slowly disappear from the front pages. She could go from daily headlines to only small mentions. For someone who spent 30 years being criticized and disliked, before finally improving her public image. Being ignored might feel even worse. When people hated her, they still paid attention. Becoming almost invisible could be the hardest change of all. Number 2. Her spot in the order of precedence. There is something known as the order of precedence. In simple terms, it is the royal ranking system. It decides who goes first in public situations. It determines who walks into a room before others, who sits in the most important seat at a dinner, and whose name is announced first at big, formal events. Right now, Camilla is almost at the very top of that list. Only King Charles ranks above her. When they attend events, she enters right after him. She is introduced before the other royals. As queen, she naturally draws attention as soon as she appears. But everything changes after Charles passes away. Camilla's position would drop quickly. Catherine would then become the highest-ranking woman in the country. Princess Charlotte, Princess Anne, and other members of the royal family would also move higher in rank. Camilla would no longer be first through the door. Instead of having the best seat at the table, she would sit wherever her new position places her. She would have to wait her turn like the others. Number 1. Ladies-in-waiting. Right now, Camilla has a small group of trusted women who support her during official duties. In the past, they were called ladies-in-waiting, but today they are known as the Queen's Companions. These women are not just staff members. Many of them are close friends who have stood by her side for many years. They attend important events with her, help her prepare for public appearances, and offer quiet support behind the scenes. They understand her routines, her preferences, and the pressure that comes with royal life. Over time, they have become a steady and familiar presence in her world. However, when Camilla becomes Queen Dowager after King Charles is gone, her situation will change. Her role will no longer be the same, and that will affect the people around her. Some of her companions may decide to retire, especially if they have been working with her for many years. Others might be reassigned to different roles within the royal household. As her public duties become fewer, she may not need as many people supporting her at events. Slowly, the circle of women who have surrounded her for decades could grow smaller. The loyal companions she has relied on for so long may begin to step away one by one. Over time, the familiar group that once stood firmly beside her may no longer be the same. So, which of these things do you think Camilla will find difficult the most when she eventually loses them by the time King Charles passes away? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.